All right, welcome to Tuesday, April 1st. And here's your assignment for today. For those of you who might have been working ahead, at least you understand what we're doing today if you finish on Monday. But anyway, basically, we have an assignment. If you go to Moodle right now, you have a Plessy versus Ferguson, Brown versus Board short answer. And when you click on that, it's going to ask you to download it or open it. When we open it, you will see that it is a short answer worth 100 points. Each question, and there's only, each question is 25 points each. They're all short answer. And they are requiring you to search for basically your answer. There also is a bonus question of 15 points. Now, if you look at this, and we'll get to that in a second, the 15 points will be added on to your this. If you get a 100 on this, then I'll basically add it on to the next lowest grade. So, location right here is pbs.org for civil rights court cases, and what we'll do is we will click on that to bring us into basically the Supreme Court. And the page that it's going to bring it up is this one here, Brown versus Board of Education. There is a brief article that talks about this landmark decision, and when we go to our first question, it is Brown versus Board, and it asks you to define or explain what the 14th Amendment is and how it impacts Americans. What you will do is, after you read this, you will look for the information. In this particular case, I'll kind of help you with number one, which goes over to the 14th Amendment. And if you click on it, it actually brings up the information that you need that basically defines what the 14th Amendment is, even though it talks a little bit more down here about how the 14th Amendment worked and also the impact that it had as well on the court case and those involved in the court case. So the other questions that are there is who was the plaintiff? The plaintiff being the person who is bringing the court case, if you will, the person who is suing or the person who is filing a grievance. That is the plaintiff, okay? And the first one is who was the plaintiff for the court case and what circumstances surrounded him in filing his class action suit against the against the board. The next one is who was Chief Justice Earl Warren and what impact did he have on the court case, meaning that what was his role, and when he was dealing with this court case, what influence or impact in terms of how did he help out did he have on this case. Then we move after the first three questions to the court case of Plessy versus Ferguson, and we can get to that by simply going up here, and there is a hyperlink for Plessy versus Ferguson. Simply click on that and it'll switch you to the new court case for that. And basically what we are asking is who was the plaintiff, all right, who was basically Plessy, and why did he file his class action suit? And then question 5 is why did the courts reject his plea for justice? So what was it that the court saw that they did not see in his favor and basically created this court case, which helped create segregation, okay? Finally, the last question. If you were told tomorrow, basically the government passed a law and it was told that only people who made $50,000 a year, now that's combined salary, so if you're a family, you're $50,000 a year. If you're just by yourself and you're single, you have to make $50,000 a year in order to qualify for owning a home. If you make less than $50,000, you are not allowed to own a home or live in a home. Basically, you have to live in an apartment. How would this violate your rights? Okay. How would you feel about that, being kicked out of your home that you have now because you didn't make enough money and therefore have to be put into an apartment complex and stay there with never an option of owning your own property? So how would you feel about this law? And think about this on a realistic scale. What action can you take, okay, against the government? You can't just say, oh, well, I'm going to stand up and throw a protest sign or something. You have to think about the reality of this. This is the government who's passed the law. What can you do to influence them? And know that whatever you're doing right now will not have an immediate impact. It won't happen next month. It won't happen in the next 6 months. It may not happen in the next year or the next 5 years. Your actions have to be consistent and they have to be continual throughout time in order to eventually get things to where you can get this law overturned. So what kind of actions could you possibly take, and what role could you play in overturning such a situation? So you can analyze go back to the 14th Amendment and your civil rights. How does this violate them? Okay, it's not your right to speak. Okay, it's your right, it's your basic human rights, which exists in the 14th Amendment. So if you need to research the 14th Amendment a little bit deeper to utilize some of those terms or phrases and stuff, you may do so by using a computer. But put your answer in here. Now, if your answer is stupid, if it's ridiculous, if it's like, I'll get a gun and I'll go and I'll show Congress, or I'll assassinate somebody, or I'll file just a lawsuit, you have to be more realistic in what your approach would be. So in order to get this credit, you have to have a real answer, okay? After that, you'll go up here, you'll save it, and then once you have saved your article, excuse me, you need to go to basically the Dropbox and upload your assignment. And that is your assignment for Tuesday. That's it. Good luck.